traveled east, over the mountains and into the vast deserts of broken lands. As the days passed, my companion told me of himself, that he had once been a great warrior, and that a dark and secret burden now weighed heavily upon him. We traveled for an eternity across that arid wasteland. How long? I couldn't say. And always, a dark cloud seemed to follow us just over the horizon. Finally, the journey ended. We climbed the last bridge. There below us lay our destination. The shining jewel, Loot Lane, with a great sea beyond. We made camp that last night. Perhaps it was the warm desert wind or the sound of the ocean, but for the first time in many weeks, I slept. However, the dreams returned, but these were clearly not my own. I beheld a vision of a great man, the mage, Talrasha. You were there too, Tyrael. I remember seeing you in my dream. His brethren had cornered a great demon, Baal, Lord of Destruction, who had been set loose upon the world. They attempted to imprison the demon within a sacred stone. Yet when their attempts failed, Talrasha selflessly volunteered to contain the demon within himself, completing the prison. He instructed his brethren to bind him within a tomb, buried under the sand, there to wrestle with the demon for all eternity.
Now you know what I seek, Marius. This is my brother. Sleep now. We set out with the dawn.
The next morning, we walked over the hill toward Loot Lane. I had no idea then of the horrors that were in store for me there.
Greetings, honored traveler. I am Jaren, Lord of Loot Lane, and I bid you welcome to my fair port city. I'm glad to know that once again, caravans are free to travel through the Western Pass. For some time now, we have been under siege by an evil power that I cannot identify. Strange, it all began when a dark wanderer came this way, looking for the tomb of Talrasha. No one knows exactly where Talrasha, keeper of Baal, is entombed, but it is certain to be far out in the desert. Now my people whisper tales of the dead rising from their tombs, and horrible creatures lurking amongst the moonlit dunes. Even I have witnessed things which I cannot explain. I've ordered the port closed and all trade ships moored until I am sure that my city is safe. Atma, the tavern keeper, has an important mission for you. Go see her immediately. You'll find her on the other side of town. Now I must return to the palace. I apologize, but I can't invite you in. Things are rather a mess right now. For trade in magic and the like, see Drognin or Lysander. Drognin is the wisest man I know, without equal in magic and ancient lore. Poor Lysander is nearly deaf, but he's a reliable potion chemist. For travel back west, see Wariv, whom you already know. Our own Farah is a fine and honest armorer, and she can heal wounds as well. Elzix is the innkeeper, and may also have some items to trade. Grays, the mercenary captain I hired to secure the gates of Loot Lane, keeps order in town as well. There are others here too. I'm sure you'll meet most of them. Just look around. Things are getting worse by the hour. I know everything looks fine, but trust me, it isn't.
Halt! You may not pass. Stay out of trouble.
Now that Andariel is dead, I can return and outfit the rogues properly. Once I've made some trades here, I'll be free to head back to their monastery. Let me know if you want to travel along. Jaren has his father's strength and wits. He's young, but he rules this place with wisdom and care. I think he'll grow into a fine sultan, provided we all survive this crisis.
Greetings, my friend. Have you spoken to Jaren yet? He's quite a remarkable leader for being such a young man. Then again, the old blood has always run strong in this land. I talked at length with Wariv as we crossed the desert from Khanduras. He has many fascinating tales of the dangers of the desert. His experience may be useful to you.
How do I know I can trust you, hmm? You may be as shifty as that pack rat Elzix who runs the inn. But if you need a potion, though, I suppose I can make you one. For a price, of course. There are some ancient enchanted fountains in the desert that can heal you wounds, if you drink enough from them.
I am Farah. I was once a devout champion of Zakarum. I know much about the ancient religions. I was trained as a paladin of Zakarum in the Eastern Koras Temple many years ago. Perhaps in time, you will play a part in reclaiming our order's honor and spirit. You are an inspiration to me.
Welcome to Lutgolain. I hope your skills are a match for the horrors that lie beyond the city's walls. A mage of your limited experience may find the evil too great to withstand alone. I've heard that you are responsible for banishing Andariel back to the burning hells. I'm impressed, stranger. That couldn't have been easy. My name is Drognan, and I know what you're up against, my friend. You ought to look over my inventory of items for trade. I've been practicing magic for more years than you could know. I'm older than I look, though not so old that I can't conjure up a few sparks. Demons have spread throughout the desert wasteland and threaten to engulf our quiet port city.
I bet you wonder how this town manages to stay safe with all the trouble going on out in the desert. Well, I can tell you that it's got nothing to do with the local town guards. They're all in the palace for some reason. Jaren hired me and my mercenaries to help keep the peace around here. We're not cheap, but we're the best this wasteland has to offer. We do a good job in town, but beyond the city gates, you'll find all manner of demons.
I haven't seen one of your kind in many years. It's good to know that warriors of your caliber are protecting this city. I'm Mashif, captain of this ship here. I make port runs around the Twin Seas and occasionally out to Kingsport in Westmarch. I haven't sailed anywhere lately, though. Jaren has ordered me to stay docked here in case of emergency. I was wondering if you've heard any news from Kurast. Have you been there recently? Well, I hope the port opens soon. I need to get home to Kurast and find out what's been happening there.
Hey, ferocious as the wild beasts of the north. That's what they say. I don't know why you people keep pestering me. I suppose you've come to help save this city. Well, you needn't bother. Grace seems to have this place locked down nice and tight. Not that I couldn't have done the same. I've proven my valor in combat plenty of times. Hey, I heard that you can wield multiple weapons at once. I never learned to fight two-handed. Carrying a sword and a wineskin at the same time is all I can ever handle.
Elzix and I have reached an understanding over the years. He sends travelers to me for drink and entertainment, and I send them back to him for a soft bed. The travelers often trade their wares for lodging.
Elzix is quite a scoundrel, but I like him all the same.
Elzix is a sly one, I'll give him that. Of course, he never tries to cheat me. He knows what my magic skills can do.
Ah, Elzix is quite a character. I had a few run-ins with his band of outlaws in my younger years. Now he's as settled as the dunes out there. The Desert Rain Inn is his pride and joy these days.
Oh, I've known Elzix for years. He always offers me a free room at his inn when I dock here. But I prefer the comforts of my own cabin.
That old desert fox Elzix is as crafty as they come. Years back, he made off with a small fortune of my caravan's wares. I certainly never expected to see him so domesticated.
Even though he was once a bandit, I permitted Elzix to take over the Desert Rain Inn. He has been quite civilized ever since.
Ah, you must be one of the new heroes who've come to rid our city of evil. Under any other circumstances, I'd be surprised to see one of your kind in this city. But lately... Oh, never mind all that. You look like a sturdy adventurer. You know, I used to be quite the scoundrel in my day. I led the fiercest group of bandits who ever terrorized these sands. Nowadays, I run this here inn and pretty much stay out of trouble. My days of adventuring are behind me. You know, I've lost a number of body parts over the years. An eye here, a leg there. Say, do you know any spells that grow them back for me? On second thought, I'll leave well enough alone.
Atma serves a fine ale in her establishment.
Atma. Now there's a fine woman. Lately, though, she's only thinking about revenge. She has reason enough.
Atma is a good, loving woman, but I fear she will succumb to her despair and hatred.
Atma seems to be a fine woman, but I'm sure the loss of her family has made her lonely. Perhaps I should go over and console her when I get off duty tonight.
The sweetest desert flower. That's Atma. Even my strongest brew can't bring back her family, though.
The woman Atma may have some useful gossip for you. She can always be found near her public house.
I don't expect this of you, but if you want to help me, I would be grateful. In the sewers below our city, there lurks a horrid creature that hungers for human flesh. The creature has killed many, including my son and my husband. If you destroy it, I will reward you. Please, be careful, though. That beast has taken enough from us already. The sewer entrance is through the trapdoor, just up the street. The creature makes its lair in the tunnels beneath the city. He butchered my husband and son. I simply cannot bear to talk about it. This public house used to be quite lively, until this plague of evil. Luckily, I've managed to save away a tidy nest egg. Unfortunately, I couldn't save everything I cared for.
The Horodrim used to mummify their highest mages and infuse them with spells that would allow them to protect their tombs, even after death. I have no idea why one of them would be acting so malevolently. Perhaps Drognan or Farah would know more about this.
Farah and I have been talking about the creature recently. From my studies, I have deduced that it is Radamant the Fallen, an ancient Horadric mummy that has for some reason left his tomb to prey on mortals. I'm doing some more research now. If you check back later, I may have some more insight as to his nature.
I believe that the creature you refer to is one of the ancient Horadric mummies from the tombs that lie buried beneath the desert sands. It is unusual for one of his kind to be so far away from his resting place. I sense in this entity a restless and malevolent spirit.
I hear that beast is after body parts. Does he eat them? Ugh, ghastly.
I've heard tales of walking corpses out in the desert at night, though I've never actually seen one.
There are 2 entrances to the sewers, I believe. One of them is right near here, down by the water beneath the docks. I can see it from my ship, and you can bet I keep an eye on it every night.
Hey, don't touch my drink, or I'll bore a hole into your skull with my thumb.
I hear that the creature kills his victims in order to hack off their limbs. I guess that makes me a less likely candidate, eh?
I've personally found some of that devil's victims washed up out of the sewer. Often they are missing limbs or a head, and their bodies have always been skinned. At first, the creature raided the town at night. That's how Atma lost her family. Now we've got him barricaded in the sewers. You're safe up here on the surface, but every now and again, some fool wants to be a hero and heads down to the waste tunnels with a pig sticker.
Oh, the telltale stench of a carnivore's lair.
Face the light, or lurk in darkness. I sense a powerful undead being within this place.
The foul stench of evil assails me.
Drognan told me something interesting earlier today. It might explain why Rodamant is so restless, and it might have something to do with why he is stealing human body parts.
I've just been reading something interesting about this sort of undead. Apparently, certain Horadric funereal priests altered the bodies of their dead mages with magical and surgical techniques, often replacing body parts with those of animals. This was thought to augment their powers and raise their status in the afterlife.
The Horadric mummies were created to protect the tombs, but Rodamant is far from his burial chamber. Given the aberrations that have been witnessed lately, it comes as no surprise that even the ancient Guardian's spells have begun to unravel. Be wary of this as you venture farther into the desert.
Huh? Peppermint? Oh, Radamant. Yes. Oh, a foul creature. Some of my exploding potions should do quite nicely against him. They usually work well against the undead.
If you're going to fight that thing, use some common sense. Be knowledgeable about what harms the undead. Poison, for instance, will have little effect.
Aha! Back for a small shot of courage? Believe me, it doesn't help for long. Drinks, barkeep!
I am starting to have second thoughts about my request. I couldn't bear the thought of you losing your life on my behalf. Please, be careful.
I noticed a rotting human arm floating in the harbor this morning. I suspected foul play, so I told Grays. He didn't seem too concerned since there haven't been any folk reported missing lately.
Death is not afraid of the living, but the living abhor death.
We've been meaning to send an organized group down there to kill that thing, but it would be dangerous. We just can't afford the chance of losing any men with all the trouble that's going on in the desert.
I've just about had my fill of the Walking Dead.
Rodamant, return to dust. What a waste of undead flesh. I pray that Atma will rest easy now.
Atma's been telling everyone what you've done for her.
Whoa. Rodamant the Fallen, is it? I've fallen off many a bar stool. No one calls me Geglash the Fallen. I might go so far as to say, Geglash, you've fallen.
Good job, mate. At night out on my ship, I was often awakened by that fiend's awful moaning. I'll bet I rest easier now.
Oh, I have great faith in Graves. He seems to have things well in hand.
From what you tell me, it would seem that Rodamant was bent on the task of reviving his own mummified corpse with the flesh of the living. This is very unusual indeed. It takes an incredible magic power to alter the singular purpose of an undead mind. Perhaps there is a power at work here, which is beyond my ken.
We ran into one of those old tomb guardians when I ran with my bandits. I know they aren't easy foes to face, so you sure have my respect. Have you told Atma yet?
You've killed Rodamant, eh? That's quite a nice piece of work. If you ever need a job as a mercenary, I'd be happy to sign you up.
If you haven't already, tell Atma that Rodamant is dead. It may help to ease the weight of her mourning.
As you have helped Atma and all of us, so shall I help you.
They say that the taste of vengeance is bittersweet, but I find it to my liking. In addition to my undying gratitude, I have spoken on your behalf with the rest of the townspeople. The merchants have agreed to show their gratitude by offering their wares and services at lower rates. Oh, Jaren wants to see you too. You'll find him in front of the palace.
What is that? Ah, this stuff will come in handy. I should ask in Ludger Lane.
I've heard of your friend Cain. He is the last of the Horadrim. You would do well to heed whatever advice he has to give you.
Ah, the lost Horadric scroll! What a fortunate turn of events! As the last living Horadrim, I alone have knowledge of its meaning. Now, to read the Horadric runes it bears.
The Horadric mages, after binding Bale within Tal Rasha, magically sealed off his burial chamber from the mortal realm. Those same mages also crafted fearsome Horadric staves, and imbued them with the special power to open the chamber's hidden door. After nearly losing one to the thievery of a rogue sorcerer, they divided all the Horadric staves into two parts, wooden shaft and metal headpiece, hiding them separately to safeguard them. The Horadrim foresaw our current plight, and designed the hiding places to reveal themselves to worthy heroes like you. Collect both parts of a Horadric staff and unite them using a Horadric cube. Then you may enter Tal Rasha's burial chamber.
Wareve may not remember me, but I helped him out when I was a young paladin. There's no need for me to remind him. The rewards for honor will not come in this life.
I've traded my potions to Wareve many times. Yes, they seem to fetch a good price in the Western lands.
Wareve is a good friend. We've shared many tales, he and I. If we had it all to do over again, I believe we'd both be explorers of some renown.
When you arrived, Wareve's caravan had been long overdue. With all of the evil that's arisen in the land, I'm surprised he got through it all.
Caravans take people where they want to go, until they get there.
I sense strange energies emanating from this mound. Nothing but treasure. Well, it'll do.
You have quite a treasure there in that Horadric cube. According to Horadric lore, the cube can restore a Horadric staff. To do it, use the cube as you would a scroll. When the cube opens, place both pieces of the staff into it and use the cube's transmute power. You'll be pleased to know that the cube has other alchemical uses as well. 6 gems plus 1 sword transmute into a socketed longsword. You may also transmute 2 quivers of crossbow bolts into 1 quiver of arrows, while 2 quivers of arrows yield 1 quiver of bolts. I must leave it to you to discover other formulae.
Geglash may seem like a sot, but he's a brave man. All this trouble has driven him to drinking more than his usual.
Geglash is a fool who would fight his own shadow if he could. Fighting's all he ever thinks about.
Geglash is too confident in his abilities. A warrior's true strength is in his heart.
Geglash is an imposing warrior, but he's never been able to back down from a fight. One of these days, his pride will be the death of him.
That braggart Geglash says he fears neither man nor beast. Yet when I offer to take him out to sea, he quakes with fear.
Have you found those big sand maggots yet? Arrows and all that don't work so well against them. Best thing is to hack them with a sword or such.
The Staff of Kings! You astound me, my friend. You have discovered the shaft portion of a Horadric staff. I trust you know how to use a Horadric cube to unite the shaft with its headpiece. There is something about Farah that troubles me. Her manner is strange for a lonely desert maid.
Farah is a good woman. She seems very sad, but seldom speaks of her past. She's good to the poor and helps people when she can. That makes her all right in my book.
I've seen Farah defend herself against a few drunken ruffians. She's got moves I've never even seen before. Wherever she's from, she sure learned how to fight there.
I haven't talked much to Farah. She keeps to herself most of the time. I get the feeling that she doesn't like us mercenary types much.
The Lady Farah has a proud, noble air about her.
The shrines in the desert are leftover artifacts from the Great Sin War that ravaged these lands almost 1,000 years ago. They still function, but most travelers believe them only to be remnants of the distant past. Graze is a fine warrior and leader, but in his heart he will always be a mercenary for hire. I cannot be loyal to those who have no loyalty to themselves.
Oh, I have great faith in Graves. He seems to have things well in hand.
Graves seems to be a dependable fellow. I hope he can handle it if those things in the desert decide to attack this town.
I might spare you a few of my men. Why, enough gold can muster an army. I'd stay clear of Lysander if I were you. He's always mixing his damned potions and chemicals. I wouldn't be surprised if he winds up blowing himself to smithereens.
Lysander is harmless enough. We keep each other company with our mutual interests. Yet, I don't think he could handle the enormity of our present situation.
Oh, Lysander is cranky, but he's a good old man. He used to give me medicines when my son was ill.
That Lysander's a grumpy old cuss. You'd better not disturb him while he's working on his potions, or boom, you could get blasted to the moon.
I've got no time for old alchemists. Lysander would be completely useless in a real fight.
Oh, deafness has its advantages, you know. I'm no longer forced to overhear the tedious gossip of others.
Just a large mound. There is nothing to fear here. Light willing, this treasure will help put an end to this stifling evil.
The Viper amulet you bear is actually the headpiece of a Horodric staff. Yes, you have an uncanny knack for finding rare and valuable artifacts. Of course, you'll have to use a Horodric cube to combine the headpiece with the shaft. A day! Excellent. You have a Horodric staff. Carry it with you into Tal Rasha's tomb. Find within the tomb the chamber whose floor is inset with the circle of 7 symbols. Place the staff into the receptacle you find there. That will open the secret passage into Tal Rasha's burial chamber. But be prepared for a fight. You'll likely have to kill Tal Rasha to destroy Baal.
Drognin is a very private person. He's always studying ancient scrolls and such. He may be a mystery to me forever.
What tales Drognin can tell. You would do well to listen carefully to that wizened wizard.
Drognin's a mystery to me. Then again, I never did trust mages much.
Drognin? Oh, he's a good friend of mine. I help him find exotic spell components in alchemical books from time to time. I think he used to be a sorcerer of great renown, but he doesn't like to talk about his past.
Strange and unexpected eclipse.
What is wrong with the sun?
Only the darkest magics can turn the sun black. What evil taints the light of the sun?
My astrologers failed to predict this eclipse. You should seek Drognin's advice.
Drognin may have some advice on this matter. I think I'll speak with him myself.
This unnatural nightfall is no doubt caused by evil sorcery. Drognin might know what we are dealing with.
Drognin the wizard will have some idea as to what is happening.
I've been researching this lengthy eclipse, and I believe it to be the work of claw vipers. Find their temple beneath the desert sands, and you may find the source of this curse.
This whole place is one big ale fog.
This permanent darkness is very unsettling. It would make navigation by stars easier for me, though.
The sun has grown disgusted with the terrible deeds it must shine upon each day. Damnation is upon us all.
2 men arrived late last night bearing a story about evil magic. They said they saw a gathering of giant snake creatures performing some arcane ritual. They sound like the serpent men of the desert.
This midday darkness reeks of foul magic. My men and I are trying to keep the peace, but this kind of thing really scares people.
Oh no, snakes. I hate snakes. This place is as dark as a tomb.
The sun has never shone here.
Light guide my way in this accursed place.
The source of this spell is probably a magical altar. It will not be enough to kill the claw vipers. To reverse the spell, you must destroy the altar.
I've had about enough of this darkness. I don't even know what day it is anymore.
I was going to go to bed, but then I realized that I have no idea what time it is. It could be the crack of dawn for all I know.
It's strange when the morning after the night before is still the same night.
Don't worry. My men and I have an iron grip on this town. If those cursed claw vipers are plotting anything against us, we'll be prepared for them.
I usually charge for rooms by the night, but I may have to soon change that.
This eclipse is a definite manifestation of evil.
The calculated coldness of the reptilian brain makes the claw vipers uncanny adversaries.
The claw vipers practice evil magic. They have also been known to kidnap travelers and sacrifice them to their dark gods.
I don't know much about the habits of claw vipers, to be honest. Drognan will probably know something about the nature of the magic at work.
I've discovered a reference to a similar eclipse several hundred years ago. It says that some desert-dwelling snake demons had erected an evil altar which caused the sun to go black. Perhaps we're dealing with something similar here. Look for an altar in the Claw Viper Temple.
What a pity. I was beginning to enjoy the darkness.
Ah, yes. The sun warms the world once more. It is good to know that the sun shines once again.
The light can never be extinguished by evil.
Drogman seems to have taken you into his confidence. This is good, for you will benefit from his wisdom.
Oh, claw vipers are fond of magical artifacts. Did you happen to find one in their temple?
You did well in destroying the Claw Vipers. We are all glad to see the sun return to its former glory.
Ah, it takes but one eye to revel in the beauty of our restored sun.
I'm glad that's over with.
You have done well to restore light to our world.
So this is daylight. It's overrated.
So, did you plunder any booty?
With renewed daylight, one may gather the wits that were scattered about like restrictive undergarments in the darkness.
The sun again shines on Lutko Lane. I'm beginning to like you, traveler.
Ah, it takes but one eye to revel in the beauty of our restored sun.
I've been speaking with Lord Jeren, and I sense that he is becoming more and more agitated by something. You should try to talk to him again. If he still won't take you into his confidence, seek to prove yourself a bit more. I gather that his respect for you is growing.
In addition to my public house, there used to be several brothels doing business here. When the troubles first started in the desert, the Harem Guild sought sanctuary within the palace. Of course, Jeren was glad to oblige. I'll bet they're finding many ways to repay him for his protection.
We've all fared well under Jeren's leadership. The town has remained safe throughout this whole mess. And yet the lad still seems very upset about something. I miss the brothels that used to do business here. You know, all of the ladies fled to the palace as soon as the trouble in the desert started. You'd think that they could at least come out once in a while now that Grays and his men have things relatively under control.
I've no love for brothels, as they can lead honorable men to do dishonorable things. Since the local harems took up hiding in the palace, however, there seems to be a rise in foul tempers.
Jeren's been acting strange lately. I can't imagine why he would call the town guards into the palace. There's something wrong in there. I hope he doesn't expect me to handle it. Sure, I hear lots of what goes on. Did you hear about the harem guilds? They were the only ones allowed to hide out in the palace when the raids started. It figures.
We're keeping the town safe and tight, but I've got a hunch there's something Jeren's not telling us. Jeren's got a nice little trading post going here. Despite his youth, he is a clever businessman. As you can see by that palace, he's done quite well for himself. The local guards were all relocated to the palace after the troubles began. No one really knows why. Actually, all of the town's brothel girls have been hiding out in the palace's cellar lately, so I assume that the guards have been assigned to protect them with their lives.
Oh, young Jeren used to purchase minor love potions from me, hoping to win the favors of the harem girls. But now that the girls have taken up residence in the palace, he doesn't come around here anymore. Well, I've always said alchemy is no substitute for experience. Potions are delicate mixtures. They're just as liable to go off in your face as anything. I never patronized the brothels, mind you, but since those ladies took up hiding in the palace, there certainly has been less scenery to feast my eyes on.
Mashif is an honorable man, but I fear that he is growing impatient with me about impounding his ship. I dare not tell him what's really happening in this city.
I've been all around the seas in these parts. It's dangerous sailing west this time of year, though. Until the season changes, the caravan through the desert is the main trade route to Westmarch. There's something Jaren's not telling me. I just don't know what. To my eye, things here in town don't look that bad, especially since Warreef's caravan route opened up. My ship is the only way east from here. Still, Lord Jaren tells me that I may not leave until the current crisis is over.
There used to be a lot of brothels here. I guess the trouble scared all the women away. Or maybe they're safe in Jaren's palace.
Not long ago, one of my Vigerai comrades, who I believed had died in Tristram, came to the city. He seemed quite insane, so I dismissed much of what he said. However, he was able to talk his way into Jaren's palace. No one has seen him since. I fear that fool may have found something in the palace that led to his doom. When the recent troubles began, Lord Jaren came seeking my counsel. I advised him to close the port and put the town under strict watch. Lately, though, he's been occupied within the palace. I doubt his whores could divert him from his civic duties for this long, though. I've been researching the old records, trying to find the location of Tal Rasha's tomb. Though I haven't found the tomb itself, I may have a good lead for you. The great Vigerai summoner, Horizon, built his arcane sanctuary somewhere around here. He was a powerful spellcaster and kept demons as slaves within the sanctuary. He kept a close eye on great events too, such as the imprisonment of Baal within Tal Rasha's tomb. If you could find Horizon's sanctuary, I'm sure that it would hold some clue as to the tomb's location. Though I doubt Horizon is still alive, you must proceed with caution. There's no telling what could be waiting inside. When I spoke of this with Lord Jaren, he asked that I send you to him. Perhaps he knows of a secret entrance or the like. Nearly 1,000 years ago, Horizon rose to the fore of the Vigerai mage clan. Horizon used the knowledge of the Vigerai to summon and control demons from hell. Though a powerful summoner, Horizon feared that the lords of hell would punish him for enslaving their brethren. Thus, the summoner created for himself an arcane sanctuary. He believed that his sanctuary would not only protect him from hell's vengeance, but also allow him to continue his studies free from the ravages of time and disease. Horizon had crafted many wondrous scrying devices through which he observed the events of the world outside. It is certain that he took careful study of Tal Rasha's imprisonment and recorded the location of his forgotten tomb. The arcane sanctuary was believed to have been constructed here, in Lut-Gholein. An entrance may be hidden somewhere in the palace, as that building is very old, and was once a Vigerai fortress.
Look, I'm just about as tough and arrogant as they come. But you never catch me trying to tame a demon for a pet. That's just asking for a lot of trouble. Jaren's been acting strange lately. I can't imagine why he would call the town guards into the palace. There's something wrong in there. I hope he doesn't expect me to handle it.
Arcane Sanctuary? That place sounds awful. Even if you find a way into it, what makes you think you'll be able to leave again?
An arcane sanctuary under the palace? I'd heard that there were some underground cellar levels that Jaren used as chambers for his treasure and such, but no arcane sanctuary.
The only thing in Jaren's cellar are the harem girls that have been hiding there since the troubles began.
Ah, the legend of Horizon is an old one, especially around these parts. You wouldn't believe the feats and strange events that are attributed to him.
Ah, the ancient mage Horizon. He believed that he could bend evil forces to his will. What he didn't know was that evil uses man, not the reverse. The Viserai still revere him as a symbol of man's ability to triumph over otherworldly forces. The Church of Light, however, cites him as an example of man's folly.
Horizon found it necessary to lock himself up for all time, just to protect himself from those angry demons. Such is the fate of one who practices the summoning arts. That or eternal damnation. There's old summoners and bold summoners, but no old, bold summoners.
A careful caravan gives wide berth to sleeping bandits. If Horizon is gone, let him remain so.
I very much doubt that Horizon still lives in his sanctuary. He possessed great power and influence over demons, but even that may not have been enough in the end. One of his notoriety cannot easily remove himself from the vengeful reach of hell.
You seem very capable, but no offense is intended when I say that I must choose my confidants carefully. It wouldn't do to have rumors sending everyone into a panic. To any who aid me in the defense of Lut-Gholein, I pledge my support. Passage east, wealth, honor, all are due to those who help my city. When the troubles began here, I allowed the terrified harem guilds to join me within the safety of the palace. All was fine until one night. Screams echoed up the stairwells from the harem. My guards arrived to find the poor girls being slaughtered by a merciless band of hell-spawned demons. My brave guardsmen tried to push the demons back into the mysterious rift from which they came. Ever since, my men have fought a losing battle. Demons have continued to pour through the rift into the palace. Ultimately, I hired Graze and his mercenaries to help protect the rest of my fair city. Drognin believes that the arcane sanctuary lies buried underneath this palace, since Lut-Gholein occupies the site of an ancient Viserai fortress. My palace is open to you now. Take care.
Hey, hero. Welcome to the palace. You're asking for trouble if you leave town now. You may enter the palace.
This is fantastic. I wish I had time to study this bizarre dimension.
This was not designed by nature's architect.
This surely is the product of a twisted mind.
One could get lost in here.
I've been thinking about the problems in Jeren's palace. Perhaps this has occurred to you as well. If those cellar passageways lead to the arcane sanctuary, then that is where the demons came from. Horizon's haven must have been breached.
Even a sanctuary such as Horizon's can be breached by the tentacles of evil. Such a haven could have become a chamber of unspeakable horrors. Be wary of what you may unleash.
Huh? The horizon is always out of reach, you should know that. Oh, Horizon. Oh, I see. Yes, well, he was insane. Yeah, brilliant, yes, but total lunatic.
All my years of brawling, of pummeling both the unsuspecting and the deserving, have yielded two insights. You can either fight, or you can run. All other strategies are variations of these.
So you've been in the palace, have you? Tell me, why does Jeren keep that place locked up so tight?
I am certain that you will find the information you need when you find Horizon's journal. I suggest you find it quickly, for Diablo may be getting closer to freeing his brother as we speak.
What's got you so occupied in the palace? Oh, don't tell me you're finding the harems more compelling than killing demons. That would be out of character for one such as yourself.
I understand that you've been talking to Jeren. Well, if so, then you're the first in a long while. Since the trouble began, actually. Do us a favor, and try to find out what's got Jeren so edgy all the time. Okay?
Fate is like a caged gorilla. It will pelt you with dung if you mock it.
So, now that you're such a pal of Jeren, why don't you ask him if I can set sail one of these days? I'm running out of patience.
There was an Eastern mage, a Viserai, I believe, who visited me almost a year ago. He was very interested in the history of this site, and he seemed particularly fascinated with the palace architecture. I gave him a tour. When he found the ancient seals over a passageway in the cellar, he became very agitated. He asked for some time alone to study them, and I granted it. Shortly after, he left with no further word, and I never saw him again. Odd, don't you think?
Stand aside, O fool. I have no time for your babblings.
This place would drive anyone mad.
Surely the evil here has driven you mad. This bumbling fool cannot be the mighty Horizon.
The man you describe is probably not Horizon. He sounds like the very mage who came around here a while ago. He was very curious about this palace, and seemed especially interested in the seal on the passageway in the cellar. He left shortly after that. I wonder how he got down there. The seal was never broken. That mage spoke a great deal to Drognin. Why don't you ask him about it?
That doesn't sound like Horizon. I'll agree that he may have gone mad, but from what you tell me, I don't think that's the case. Talk to Drognin. He may know more than I.
Yes. The man you speak of sounds like the mage who came here many months ago. He claimed to have fought Diablo in the passages beneath Tristram. No doubt the fool wandered into Horizon's sanctuary and lost whatever was left of his ravaged mind. He is beyond salvation. It is possible that the fool has been possessed by the spirit of Horizon. If that's true, then you'd better put an end to his tortured existence. Once done, I believe the demons who were summoned and imprisoned within the sanctuary will cease to exist as well.
Oh, yes, I remember. There was a fellow around here many months ago who asked almost as many questions about Horizon as you. So, he discovered enough to assume Horizon's place in the arcane sanctuary, huh? What a fool.
You always seem to find the worst trouble. I don't know how you handle it.
So, Horizon's crazy, eh? I'd be surprised if he wasn't. All those centuries without ale would drive anyone to drink. But then you couldn't drink. And that would drive you to drink. Huh? What was the question?
Ah, yes. As a ship captain, I am well aware of the phenomenon of a false horizon. Sorry, just a little joke.
That guy really talks like that? Sounds like either Horizon has gone stir-crazy or that's some imposter.
There's nothing more dreadful than a powerful being driven by a frayed mind.
Crazy mages give me the creeps. Just kill them and get on with your business.
The appearance of the mage you describe sounds like one I met back in Tristram. Many Viserai came to fight against Diablo, the Lord of Terror. Perhaps this is one of them. You know, fate seems to have frowned upon all of the heroes who confronted that terrible evil. Take care, or the same may happen to you.
He was not Horizon. He was a deluded fool who got too close to true power.
Oh, I hate staining my hands with the blood of foul sorcerers.
Rest in peace, tortured soul.
Finally. Now I can leave this twisted nightmare.
Seekers of the tomb of Tal Rasha will find it through the portal. But know that the glowing glyphs recorded here in my arcane sanctuary are the signs of the 6 false tombs. The missing 7th sign marks the tomb of Tal Rasha. Of the Horadrim, he might be called the Foremost. It was a shining but brief moment for the mage clans when they set aside their differences and worked together against the common enemy. The Horadrim relentlessly pursued the 3 across the desolate empires of the East and even into the uncharted lands of the West, leaving the Archangel Tyrael's hands unblemished. Presuming the 3 to be vanquished, the Horadrim's unstable fellowship began to dissipate. Abandoning their sacred charge to safeguard the 3 soul stones, the disparate mage clans began to squabble amongst each other over petty differences. Their conflicts not only dissolved their brotherhood, but strengthened the evils which they had buried beneath the cold earth.
I hope that this false summoner found peace in death. Unfortunately, it is more likely that he will be dragged down into hell by the demons he was bound to. Let this be a lesson to you. Demonic magic is a quick path, but its powers are seductive and deadly. You must move quickly now, friend, for Diablo is undoubtedly close to finding what he seeks. Find the tomb of Tal Rasha before he frees the Lord of Destruction.
I feel no pity for that would-be summoner. His terrible ambition for demonic power was his undoing. You merely hastened the inevitable. Faith is stronger than any armor. The shield will protect the body, but faith will strengthen the courageous heart.
Horizon's urinal? Oh, journal. Yes, well, glad you found it. Such a shame about those poor harem girls, huh? I shall miss them deeply. I mean, their conversations, of course. Such is always the fate of those who meddle with evil.
You have found Horizon's journal. Excellent. But I must caution you. The mark of the true tomb of Tal Rasha is sought, if not already known, by Diablo. I needn't elaborate on the implications of that. Larger forces are moving inexorably towards us. You must now make haste to the tombs.
Oh, those poor women. Will the slaughter never end? Thank you once again for protecting our city. You're more the hero than I could have dreamed. Perhaps there is hope for us after all.
Ha! I wish Jaren would have let me in the palace. I would have saved those girls and kicked demon ass back to the fire pits of hell. The way I see it, well, it's all pretty blurry.
So, now we know Jaren's little secret. Well, I guess I can see why he wanted me to stay, though. I'm just glad it didn't come to that. Now he tells me to wait some more, in case you need to get out of here. Well, for you, I'll do it. Maybe they'll mention me in the epic ballads, eh? Well, you've got what you're after. Now get a move on before it's too late.
Well, the news going around town is very unsettling. Apparently, we were in more danger than anyone thought. Good work, friend. You may have saved all our skins. I guess you'll be heading to the tombs now. I hear that they're in the deepest desert regions.
News of the tragedy in the palace is spreading fast. How awful. And to think, this whole time I thought Jaren and his guards were in there playing with the harem girls. You make me long for the days of glory, when I had both hands, both eyes, and more of a foot.
Unbelievable. The harem girls are dead? The palace guards been fighting off demons from the cellar? How could that happen without my knowledge? So, Horizon's been dead for some time. I take it you at least found what you were looking for.
The demonic force that was emanating from the corrupted sanctuary has dissipated. I thank you greatly for your help. Now we can look to rebuilding our lives. All will be for nothing, though, if you do not stop the greater evil which is rapidly gaining ground. I thank you for your heroic aid. I'm also glad that you found something you were looking for. The journal should help you find the true tomb of Tal Rasha. Hopefully there is still time to get there before Diablo. Go now, and good luck. I have heard of your many deeds of skill and bravery. I feel I can trust you with something I have been hesitant to speak of. Drognin and I have concluded that the Dark Wanderer who passed through here recently was Diablo himself. Drognin believes that Diablo is searching the desert for the secret tomb where the great Horadric mage Tal Rasha keeps Baal imprisoned. You must find Diablo and put an end to the terrible evil that has fallen upon our city. Drognin is wise and is sure to have some helpful advice for you as to how Tal Rasha's tomb may be found. It may take you quite some time to find the tomb. May you be ready when you do. It is well known that there are 7 great Horadric tombs hidden beneath the sands in the furthest reaches of the desert. One of them surely must be Tal Rasha's prison. You must explore each of the tombs to find Tal Rasha's exact location. Of course, Diablo is searching for the tomb as well. No one can guess as to what terrors he has unleashed in his search.
Diablo nears his goal. We have little time to lose. Remember, my friend, that Andariel gave herself willingly to Diablo's cause. It would be prudent to assume that the other evils will attempt to aid their master as well.
Legend has it that Tal Rasha lies imprisoned within his tomb, forever struggling to keep the Lord of Destruction bound. His was a selfless act, although perhaps foolhardy.
When Tal Rasha chose to embody the spirit of Baal, he knew his doom was to wrestle eternally against the will of the greater evil. Look around you and ask yourself, has the battle been won or lost?
There are some ancient tombs out there in the desert. You have to go pretty far to find them, though. Rumor has it that they are crawling with walking corpses now. Shit. As if the saber cats and claw vipers weren't bad enough. I've killed plenty of those demons out in the desert. It doesn't seem to slow them down any, though. They just keep coming back for more. Oh, I'd go with you to those tombs, but, I don't like all that living dead stuff.
Evil has laid siege to Lutgolain, and you may be our last hope. I've heard legends of the tomb of Tal Rasha, but I thought they were just old tales meant to scare young children.
I'm sorry, I can't help you much here. Now, if the tombs were across the ocean, then I'd be the guy to talk to.
If you're going into the deep desert, why not hire a few of my men to watch your back?
There are many ancient tombs in the desert. Most of them are already plundered, but I imagine that some have remained hidden. So, you're going to search for the 7 tombs, huh? Don't you know that they're just desert legends, passed between merchants and travelers? No one really believes that they exist.
Be very careful, my friend. I think I've seen enough recently not to doubt that these tombs exist. And if they do, they are most certainly guarded by terrible creatures.
The Horadrim were a powerful order, although maybe too prideful. Tal Rasha was one of their order, and that should tell you something. Any man who believes himself strong enough to contain one of the prime evils is in for a rude awakening, I should think. Tal Rasha's tomb is hidden deep in the desert among 6 others. Tal Rasha's symbol marks the true tomb. If you want to know what that symbol is, you should be able to find it within the legendary Arcane Sanctuary.
This tomb is very ornate. This must be Tal Rasha's resting place. Such a cold breeze. Tal Rasha must be kept here.
These Horadric markings are mysterious. Aha! So, Tal Rasha, this is your resting place.
This could be Tal Rasha's tomb. However, I'm sensing very strange energies here. I sense an incredible aura about this tomb. The Horadrim hid something powerful inside.
Is this the tomb I seek? Here at last is a fitting testament in stone to Tal Rasha's sacrifice.
Diablo has freed his accursed brother. The world remains at their mercy.
I came too late. Now, destruction is let loose upon the world once more.
Diablo, I will find you yet.
I shall honor Tal Rasha's sacrifice by destroying all the prime evils.
I thank you for my freedom, but I did expect you earlier. I am the Archangel Tyrion. I came here to prevent Diablo from freeing his brother Baal, but I have failed. Now terror and destruction roam free throughout your world. Even now, they head towards the eastern capital of Kurast, to the very heart of the Zakarum Temple. There they hope to find their eldest brother, Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred, who was imprisoned there ages ago. If the 3 prime evils unite, they will be invincible. Though it is unclear as to what their aims are, it is certain that they must be stopped at all costs. I am broken, and the energies that tie me to this world are diminishing rapidly. You must take up this quest and prevent the three brothers from reuniting. You must cross the sea and search for Diablo and Baal in Kurast. Now, hurry, mortal. Time is running out for all of us.
The Archangel Tyrael was the one who gave the Soul Stones to the Horodrim 260 years ago. It is highly unusual for the forces of heaven to so directly interfere with man's destiny, but Tyrael was said to act of his own volition. We have never been able to discern why. Perhaps he goes against the consensus of heaven because he doubts our ability to defend ourselves. Or perhaps he sees more threat than his peers. Where the actions of hell often seem straightforwardly bent on destruction, the motives of heaven are unfathomable. Now make haste. Both Diablo and Baal must be stopped before they join with their brother Mephisto. If the three prime evils unite once again, the world as we know it will be no more.
When the three evils were bound ages ago, Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred, was moved to Kurast and bound by the holiest of magics. This is terrible news. Baal is in possession of one of mankind's most powerful mages, and the Lord of Terror guides his path. They must be stopped, for I am sure they mean to free their elder brother Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred, who lies imprisoned under the corrupted city of Kurast. I fear you are walking into a great evil, but your faith can save you. May you walk in the light always.
I'm sorry things didn't turn out as you had hoped. Go and remember us fondly. You know, you bothered me far less than most.
Never fear, my friend. You did the best you could. I suspect that Diablo and Baal are now heading east towards Kurast. You will find them. I know you will.
I heard that Diablo has managed to best you. At least for the time being. I hope you catch up with him soon, and send him back to hell for good.
I've heard that your foe got away from you this time. Well, look at it this way. You've got the demons on the run. If you're going to be leaving, then, well, thanks for your help.
You have proven to be the greatest of heroes, and I am honored to call you friend. Thank you for bringing peace to our lives again.
You're an inspiration, and such a hero that it makes me look twice as bad. You're okay. Hey, just save some glory for us little guys, huh?
This is a serious setback. It is most unfortunate that Tal Rasha has been consumed by Baal's destructive influence. There are many secrets known to the Horodrim which could be used by Baal against us. You must travel east by sea to Kurast and stop Diablo and Baal before they free their eldest brother Mephisto. The lands of the Eastern Empire are not the same as they used to be. There's been little word for some time. Speed is of the essence. Go quickly, my friend. May the fates smile on you.
You have done very well. Few could have come this far, let alone discover the true tomb of Tal Rasha. Unfortunately, I hear that Diablo and Baal have eluded your grasp. This is most unfortunate. If you wish to travel east, I have authorized Mashif to give you passage by sea. I imagine he should be very anxious to leave by now. Good luck on your quest, and thank you again for saving my beloved city. You will always be welcome in Lut Gholein, my friend.
Mashif seldom patronizes my establishment. I think he prefers to stay out there on his leaky ship.
Mashif and his vessel should remain here, lest we risk taking demonic stowaways to other lands.
Mashif is a wise captain, I think. Wise enough to know silver from tin and truth from dung, that's for sure.
Mashif is an honest man as far as I can tell. He has never pestered me about my past.
Yeah, Mashif's okay, I guess. But I'll be damned if I ever get on a ship. I don't even like to drink water.
Mashif has sailed all around the southern seas and visited many strange lands. Must be driving him mad having to stay anchored here.
I've sold many seasickness potions to Mashif over the years. It seems that many of his passengers don't take well to the rocking of his ship on the open seas.
By ship is the only way eastward from here. I believe Captain Mashif has a small trading vessel moored at the docks. I've met Mashif many times on my travels here. I've always enjoyed trading stories with him about the exotic lands of the East. I'd wager he sailed to many strange lands.
Mashif is an interesting man. Part of him longs for the freedom of the open seas. Yet his heart belongs in his homeland.
Jaren tells me I should take you east to Kurast. I haven't been there for several years, but rumor has it things are pretty grim.